ready for a deep dive into a story that's going to stay with you. We're going back to the book of Genesis, the story of Dinah and Shechem. Family, honor, morality. This one's got it all. And you know what? These themes, they're not stuck in the past. They still hit us hard today.
It's true. And what's really fascinating about this story is how it kind of makes you squirm a little. It forces us to look at these timeless tensions and asks us, how would you react? Even thousands of years later, it's still a tough one.
It's like a time capsule of cultural clashes, right?
Right.
So picture this. Dinah, Jacob's daughter, she's out visiting some women in the area. Enter Shechem, the son of the local ruler. He sees Dinah and, well, the text just says he takes her.
And boom, right there, those power dynamics are impossible to ignore.
Completely.
Dinah's a young woman in this patriarchal society. I mean, look at Genesis 23. Land ownership, it's all men. Women are basically property. Dinah's just socializing, which is normal. But it turns horrific. And we're hearing this story from the perspective of society where women, they had no voice.
It's like, how much context are we missing throughout history? Right? Makes you think.
Absolutely. It's like a reminder to look beyond what's written and acknowledge those silenced voices, especially in Dinah's case. It highlights the power imbalances of that time.
It's heavy stuff. So the story says that Shechem lay with her and violated her. It's brutal, no way around it. But then it takes this turn. It says Shechem loved the young woman and even spoke kindly to her.
See, this is where it gets complicated. On one hand, you have this horrible act, but then Shechem seems to genuinely care for Dinah. He even goes to his father, Hamor, and insists on marrying her. And not just a simple, can I marry your daughter? He's talking about merging their people, their traditions, everything.
That's a huge proposal, right? Peace, sharing resources, cultures blending. It makes you wonder, was Shechem truly remorseful? Or was this a calculated move to smooth things over?
It's the million-dollar question hanging over this whole part of the story and the text. It's silent on his true motives. It's like it wants us to sit with that discomfort, that ambiguity.
And that complexity, well, it explodes when we see how Jacob's family reacts to all this. So Shechem's offering this huge olive branch, right? Marriage, bringing their people together, the whole deal. It's a lot of potential upside. But Dinah's family, they don't exactly roll out the welcome mat.
Oh, not even close. When Jacob's sons, her brothers, they hear about what went down, the text just says they were grieved and very angry. But come on, grieved and very angry.
Yeah, talk about an understatement.
Totally. But here's the thing. Instead of some big emotional outburst, they come up with this plan, a very calculated plan.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
They tell Shechem and his father, we're open to this whole joining families thing, but there's a condition.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
You and all your men, you gotta get circumcised. It's our custom, our religious practice. Can't intermarry unless you do it too.
And that's where things get really interesting, because they're using circumcision, this significant religious act, as a bargaining chip. It's almost like they're aware of the pain, the vulnerability that comes with it, especially for adult men. What's your take on that?
It's a powerful example of how religion can be used. Something so personal, so sacred, it becomes this tool for manipulation. Adds a whole other layer to the whole power dynamic, doesn't it?
No kidding.
Yeah.
So Shechem and his father, they agree to this.
Yeah, actually. The text makes it seem like Shechem, he's so smitten with Dinah, he's willing to do whatever it takes. And his father, Hamor, he's more the practical one. He sees the benefits, the peace, the economic upside. He even kind of downplays the religious aspect to convince his people, focuses more on what they stand to gain.
So everybody's circumcised. You almost think for a second, okay, maybe this is it, maybe this is the happy ending, but this is Genesis we're talking about.
It's not going to be that easy.
Never is.
And it's not, because while all the men are recovering, still vulnerable from the circumcisions, two of Dinah's brothers, Simeon and Levi, they decide to take things into their own hands.
And by take things into their own hands, you mean?
They attack the city.
Whoa.
A full-on brutal attack. We're talking a massacre. They kill all the men, including Shechem and his father. Then they take Dinah back, and to really hammer home their victory, they plunder the city. The women, the children, they're all taken captive.
It's like, talk about an overreaction. This goes way beyond getting justice for their sister.
It's about as extreme as it gets, and what makes it even more disturbing is how they try to justify it.
Yeah, because even Jacob, their own father, he is horrified. He calls them out, says they've made him obnoxious to everyone in the land, put his whole family in danger. He gets the consequences of their actions.
Well, absolutely. He understands the risk of retaliation, but when he questions them, their answer is chilling. They say, and I'm quoting here, should he treat our sister like a harlot? Their whole justification, it boils down to family honor. They had to avenge this wrong against their sister.
So they truly believe they were in the right, even after all that bloodshed. All to protect their family's name, their honor. It's a lot to process.
It is, and this is where the story, it goes beyond just an ancient tale. It forces us to confront these really tough questions about justice, revenge, and the weight of cultural norms. I mean, even today, the desire to protect your family, to uphold your honor, it can drive people to do terrible things. It's a stark reminder of that potential for darkness, even in the name of love and loyalty.
So we're left with this image, this city, devastated, innocent people dead, women and children taken captive, and Dinah's family, completely shattered by what they did. It's hard to see how any good could come from this.
It's a tough one, for sure. It really shows the ripple effect of violence, how it just explodes outward. It leaves its mark on everyone and everything. This story, even though it's ancient, it's like this cautionary tale, that cycle of violence. It's still playing out today.
It makes you think about the big questions, like, were Dinah's brothers right to do what they did? Was it really about their family's honor? Or was it straight up revenge?
That's what the story does so well. It forces us to really sit with those gray areas. To really get it, we have to remember what it was like back then. Family honor, especially a woman's purity, that was everything. When Shechem violated Dinah, even if he felt bad afterward, in their eyes, that was a huge offense against the entire family.
So they thought they were fixing things, setting things right.
In their minds, absolutely. But we got to remember, this is a patriarchal world, right? Women were practically possessions. Their voices didn't matter. And Dinah's voice, it's missing from the whole story. She's a victim, she's fought over, but we never hear from her directly.
It's heartbreaking, and unfortunately a pattern we see repeated throughout history. It's impossible not to wonder, what about Dinah? What happened to her after all of this?
And that's the thing, the text, it's silent on what happens to her after her brothers take her back. She just disappears from the story. It's like we're left to imagine the trauma, the pain she must have endured. That silence, it's deafening.
It really is. It reminds us that even when someone supposedly wins, there can be so much hidden suffering.
Exactly, and it just underscores how violence, especially violence against women, it has these long-lasting hidden consequences. The fact that Dinah's story is silenced just highlights how important it is to uncover those untold stories from the past.
This whole deep dive has been quite a journey. I mean, we've gone back in time, explored this ancient text, wrestled with the cultural context, and faced some really tough questions about morality.
It's been intense. But that's the power of a story like Dinah's. It's not just some ancient history. It's a mirror reflecting the human experience. The capacity for love and violence, our struggles with justice and revenge, it's all there. It makes us look at our own beliefs about these things, even now.
Absolutely. Exploring Dinah's story has been eye-opening, to say the least. More questions than answers, right? But maybe that's the point. What sticks with you from Dinah's story? How does it make you rethink justice and morality? Keep digging, keep asking those tough questions, because even though this story is ancient, it still speaks volumes about who we are today.
Thank you for spending this time with us. Toby, Eleanor, and our team of researchers are working hard to produce more episodes. If you value what we're doing here, please consider subscribing and sharing the word. Additionally, our podcast, RSS, and Patreon links can be found below. Listener support is what makes our work possible. Join us next time for another deep dive. God bless.